Hey guys, my name is Cosplay, and a little while ago a cosplayer by the name of Friggin Boom Toys got in contact with me asking if I wanted to do a collab, and I was like, hell yeah! So Friggin Boom decided upon the theme that we were going to do for a prop build, which was a crossover between Pokemon and Star Wars. Now we are oceans apart. I'm in the UK and Friggin Boom is all the way over in Australia, so we decided not to tell each other what we're doing and we're going to reveal it over Skype. So for my prop build today, I'm going to show you how to do a realistic bone skull mask, which is a crossover between Cubone and Darth Nihilus. So what I've got here is a lot of EVO foam. This is non-patterned EVO foam as opposed to the stuff that I use to make my knight's helmet, which has got like a metallic pattern on one side. This stuff is from Polyprops. There's a load of it stretching off camera, and I'm just going to use a little bit at the moment. I think this is about a 1 centimetre thick EVO foam, same as normal mats, and I'm just going to use a little bit here to do the first part, which is the front part of the skull, which I've already templated out. People ask, do you do the templates online? And I don't. I template all my stuff freehand, which I suggest people do start getting into when you're making stuff, because you do learn more things when you actually have to force yourself to do it freehand than try and find templates online, and it's more fun. So I'm just going to draw around this bit with the Sharpie, cut it out with my blade, and hopefully you should get nice clean edges, because the little cleanup I can do, the better. And obviously make sure there's a cutting mat underneath. Don't do this on the floor, that is stupid. Okay, so cut the front face plate out, cut the eyes out. Quite happy with the shape. Obviously it's a little bit curved still from when the foam was delivered in a roll, but need it to be even more curved, so going at it with the heat gun. Heat guns are always good for when you want to shape foam, but again, as I said, be careful because it can burn it if you're a bit too close and go over the same bit for too long. So this is the finished base shape for the Nihilus / Cubone mask. See, the front's done in the nice thick foam. This stuff is a little bit harder to stick together than the EVO foam that I normally use. So you can see the gaps at the top haven't quite gone together as well as I wanted. And the back is actually made with a thinner bit of EVO foam. It's about half the thickness of this front part, just because I wanted something that's going to bend a bit more. And then done it in segments so we get a nice dome shape around the back. and sort of make it a little bit janky at the bottom, like broken bone. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go over everything with the Dremel. I want to round out all these edges here, smooth it all down, and just smooth out some of the little seams at the top as well. And then once that's done, I'm actually going to cover it with a couple of layers of PVA. This foam did come with a sealer, but what I want to do to get the bone effect is actually use the same method I used for the Green Goblin helmet, which is covering the foam in a resin, and so you need the PVA, which helps bond the resin to the foam. So you see I've got a little bit of resin on here already because I was just making some badges, my costume group, and I had a little bit left over, so I thought I'll put some in the top just for now. That'll help strengthen the top, but it hasn't been PVA'd yet, so we got a PVA around this bit. I thought just better not waste what I've got. But thankfully, unlike the Green Goblin helmet, we're not going to have to smooth all of it down and try and make it like as perfect as possible. I'm going to want this to be rough because I want this to look like bone. I was thinking of doing it with a body filler. That would be a really easy way to make it rough, but you kind of don't want to put body filler on something that's flexible. So the resin is going to be something that's going to stiffen the base shape of this mask, and if we want it to be extra rough, we can add the filler on top and we don't have to worry about it cracking under something that's flexible. So we got a little bit of the resin on now because it's just such a thin layer, it's still flexible, so it's going to be quite a few layers on this just to make this nice and solid. And the reason you do need throwaway brushes for this is because this is the state of a brush after just one coat of resin. Absolutely solid. So 6 layers of resin later, a couple on the outside, a couple on the inside. This is now quite a sturdy piece of kit. It's still got a little bit of flex in it, but not enough that I'm worried about if I put filler on it, it's going to crack a lot. So what I just need to do now is I'm just going to go around some of the edges and clean up some of these drips that are on the side. Because we don't want to do too much filler on here, we just don't want to build it up, we're going to make it really heavy and it's going to be an absolute nightmare to sand. Just want to put thin layers on in certain patches, just go over it, and then we don't have to sand it smooth, we want to sand it down so it's a bit rough so it still looks like natural bone. The whole of the skull has been covered with a load of filler. I've put a little bit on the inside too, just a little bit. So now it's time to sand it down and try and make it look like an old used bone helmet. Sanded most of the filler on the skull. I just wanted to fill in a few bits that are a bit too deep, so whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just going to start with some of the details that are going to go on to make it look more like Nihilus. So I've cut out these 2 pieces here which are going to go on over the eyes, and I just want to round these corners out a little bit, so I'm just going to use the Dremel and just very carefully just round out the edges here. All the little foam accents have been cut out, so now I've got to seal it so I can paint it. whilst I'm waiting for those to dry, now I'm gonna paint this. I've sanded all of it down, and as you can see, it's got all lovely little texture on it, make it look like it's worn and gone through a little bit of battle. And I found this nice beige colour in my spray box. This is Peugeot Panama Beige. So that's going to be the base colour for this, so I'm just going to go outside quickly, and I'm not going to bother with primer, I'm just going to spray this colour straight on. Nihilus bone helmet has now been painted. I thought the one light colour beige was a bit too light, so I've gone over it with a slightly darker colour that I had, was actually a straw flower. It's basically like a more yellowy beige. So I've just gone around certain areas with that. It just makes it a little bit darker in certain spots, just to give it a little bit more definition so it's not just all one colour. And now I'm going to do our trusty wash with some black and brown acrylic, just to sort of bring out all these little indents a little bit more. I'm not going to go too mad because there are a lot of indents on here which will be brought out, so it's going to be like a really light wash. Now the weathering's done and all our little accents are painted, just going to use a bit of hot glue and I'm going to stick them straight on. So the final main detail that I'm going to put on here is I've got these little bits of string, and the way Nihilus' hood falls over the top of his mask, it is almost as if he does have like small horns underneath because it goes up and down and up again. Obviously with this I'm not going to have a hood with it, so I thought I'd go for almost a little bit like Jedi Padawan, have like braids coming down with like little beads on the end, maybe as like little trinkets with this sort of looking like a war mask of some kind. Thought I'd just add a little bit more detail on there, make it look cool. So there is our finished Pokemon and Star Wars crossover, the Cubone Darth Nihilus skull. So now it's completed, it's time to reveal to each other what we have both been building, because we haven't told each other what prop we're going to be doing. But this is mine.
Oh my goodness.
This is Darth Nihilus mixed with Cubone.
Wow, the resin makes it look like so much different to bone. It looks like, for real, it looks like bone. It looks team skin.
It looks kind of stupid just on my head. I kind of need a balaclava to go underneath it, but I thought like give it like a sort of like a Sith warrior kind of vibe.
Okay.
Can I look?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's amazing! That is amazing. I love it.
The costume, all I did was paint a big R on it because they kind of have the same white and black thing going on.
Absolutely perfect. Oh my god, I love it so much. So I did blur out Friggin Boom's costume reveal. Why? Because you should go to his channel and check out his build stuff, because he does awesome work. I'll put links to all his stuff down in the description below so you can go stalk him on the internet. I genuinely can't wait to actually see the full video of him putting together his suit. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Friggin Boom Toys for actually getting in contact with me to do this collab. It was really fun to make this, and I hope we get to do a couple more in the future. So as I said, go check out his stuff. He does a bunch of cool different things, and he also does parkour, which is awesome because, I mean, I can barely get out of bed in the morning. So go give him some love, and also if you like the stuff that I do, then please subscribe to the channel. I've got a couple of different builds going on at the moment, trying to add a little bit of variety. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, may the force be with you.